Hi, everyone. I'm Edric,
I'm Joy.
and we're here to help you.
Get it right from the start.
So we have good friends who are here with us today. And Joy, why don't you do the introduction so we can get straight into it? There's so much to unpack with these guys.
Yeah, so we have Gian here, sometimes pronounced Gian. He's a public servant, a social media influencer, an actor, producer, musician, and most of all, a loving husband and father who loves God above all. And Joy was formerly a model. She's a social media influencer presently. She's a businesswoman as well, a loving wife and doting mother, one of the most committed mothers I know, and a homeschooler. And they have 6 kids.
I was going to say that's one of the best ways to introduce them, right? We find so many similarities. The more we've gotten to know them through the years, we kept saying, there's so many similarities. I mean, hello, you have the same name, right?
These are our people.
Joy,
These are our
Joy. These are definitely our people. We have the same loves. We love to help people. We love to talk about God. We love to take care of our 6 kids, right? So let's start our whole conversation today with your stories. So you are unique in that in so many ways, but the story of how you guys came together and what God did there is so powerful. So I'm gonna lead it with a question of tell us about your family backgrounds. Maybe Gian can start, and then we'll go to Joy, and then we'll start talking about how you met and go into detail there. Go ahead, Gian.
First, thank you, Edric and Joy, for this opportunity. And for the record, when we met you, we only had 5 kids.
That's
Right? After
Yeah.
we met you,
Yeah, that's
And I got
another one.
pregnant less than a year after.
Yes.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
influence.
so
Wait,
that's
we
good
had-
influence.
But we had 6 kids already.
Yeah.
Yes, we have
Yes, we already had 6.
yes, yeah, 6.
Kaylee, oh my goodness.
Haley was
Yeah.
1.
Yes.
She
Mm.
just turned
Yes.
1.
Yes.
So yeah.
So now we're the same.
yes, now we're the same.
And they're probably gonna have one more.
No more.
Yes.
No.
We are rooting for them to have one more to
No.
break the
Well, I want,
ties.
but yes.
Joy
And
wants
go 7.
pero something ko muna.
No more na.
So background, bro. Tell us a little bit about yourself,
Mm.
background, your family dynamics. Describe it in a few words.
I grew up in a very uh I would say traditional Filipino family, and we're in big families. My mom has they're 9 brothers, sisters and brothers, 9 sila. That's 2 boys and 7 girls. And then my father, they're all 4 boys. So they're very clannish. And my mom and dad, I'm blessed to have very hardworking parents. I remember growing up, na my mom and dad is like my mom would always. I'd remember my mom waking up very early in the morning, even if she was very tired from shooting or taping. Because she's an actress. Waking up, preparing breakfast, and then I remember my dad taking me to school, even if puyat din siya sa taping and shooting. So I'll never forget that na ganun yung routine namin sa house. And I have 3 sisters. I'm the only boy. So they say that I have the middle child syndrome. But I wouldn't say that kasi ako yung panganay, bunso, and middle child because I'm the only boy, di ba? So, and I grew up I have 3 very loving, sweet sisters who always pick on me when I was growing up. But
So
yeah.
sweet, even if they picked on him, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's it. That's my family background.
Okay.
And si Joy
And
is
versus Joy, so more traditional, right?
Yeah.
In your case, describe your family background.
Well, if he's traditional Filipino, my dad's American. So I was actually brought up a little of the American way. Like I don't call my older sisters or brothers ate or kuya, because that's how my dad brought us up. And well, it's my family. I have a long story with my family, but we're 9 altogether. But then I also have half brothers and sisters. But we actually were brought up in a way now we became really close. Like we're like full-blooded brothers and sisters. And my mom and dad uh, broke up when I was, I think, grade 6. So I was around 12. So I was in a broken home, and so growing up, I've always longed for a family, or like I growing up, I would always dream of having a family that was complete and whole. So I think that's why, that's always been my prayer. And that's why also I'm so grateful that God has blessed me with that. But of course, we had to go through a lot of
Yeah.
pain
and heartache.
before. Yeah, heartache and
Yes.
pain, which we'll probably tackle.
That's going to be our next question. But just to emphasize how different the backgrounds are,
Mm-hmm.
you said you came from a family where your father left your mom, or they broke up at a
Yes.
certain point. But if it's okay, I will share how
Yeah.
she was the eighth.
Yes.
So you're one father,
Yeah.
8 different moms.
Yeah.
So you're 9 siblings. The
Yeah.
total of you come from that kind of setup, which
Yeah.
I'm sure has created a lot of different complexities for you guys, right? So
At the same time, because we've met your siblings, and
Yeah.
it's just so amazing, I think, how your dad still was intentional about making sure that you guys would all be close
Yeah.
and love each other.
Yeah. He would always tell us, stick together, stick together. And we actually
you
grew
did.
up, like in the same home. Like they all lived with us, even though our age gap was like really like some 20 years apart, like really big age gaps. But yeah, we actually grew up pretty close. And I remember even until now, like Christmases were really like special. Like they'd come home from the States and they would really spend Christmas with us. And I think that's what made us close. Yeah. So
So at what point did you now meet? So traditional family, Gian, 1 boy, 3 girls, and a very special family in your case, Joy. And you're not even based in Manila,
yeah.
based in Cebu, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
She was born and raised in Cebu.
born and raised in Cebu. So tell us, how did you guys meet? What was circumstances? And how soon after did you guys get married?
Me na lang.
Sure.
let's,
Ikaw na.
let's hear Joy's version.
Because I know he might twist stories pa.
No, of course not.
But anyway,
Edric and Joy yan.
so I grew up in Cebu and I came here for college. And the first month of college, which was June that time, I was walking around campus. I didn't really have friends yet because I was
From the province.
from the province. Yeah, I was surprised to see someone from Cebu, like a guy friend, and so we talked. And apparently, it was his classmate, right?
Yes.
Yeah, classmate. So when we were talking in Cebuano, like I was just so happy to see a friend. Gian pala, he said na after we talked, and maybe you want to say that story. After we talked,
So-
Now she's asking you to share this
Yeah.
version. Let's hear it.
So, I was second year na.
Mm.
And the freshmen sila. Her friend just joined the school that time. Parang, I'm not sure kung nag-transfer siya. So, we became classmates. And then, when I saw Joy first. She was walking. Sabi ko, uy, ganda nun, ganon. But then, sabi ko, hindi ako papasa dyan. That's what I was thinking when I saw her. But then, a few days later, my friend parang saw her. And they waved and then they talked. And then when they were speaking in Bisaya, sabi ko, oh, wow. I thought she was a foreigner. I didn't know na she's from the Philippines. And then when they talked, I asked my friend, sabi ko, bro, pakilala mo naman ako dun sa friend mo. And he was like, talaga? Sige, tatanungin ko. And then he
he
asked.
texted me.
Oh, he texted Joy. And
I
he-
said no. Don't give my number.
I did not. Did you notice? Did not
I
notice
said
detail.
no. Don't give my number. Don't give my
She
number.
said no. Tapos, one day, I tried to borrow my friend's phone. And then I accidentally saw her number.
Accidentally saw her
Accidentally,
number.
intentionally.
He's lying right now.
Yeah,
That is lying
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
And then
No, I got her number.
Mm.
And hindi alam ng friend ko. So, that's it. I started messaging
Are you
her.
still friends?
Yes.
Yeah, we're still
we
friends.
invited him in
Hi,
the
BJ.
wedding. Hi, BJ.
it's funny how it's almost identical. I saw you and I was like, I don't think Papasa ako dyan.
Oh,
I thought she was a
wow.
foreigner. And then she's from the Philippines. I asked my friend. Anyway,
It's
back to you
about
guys.
Amen, bro.
Back to you guys.
And
Correct.
Joyce Sotto.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Amen,
Correct.
bro.
Back to
Diba?
you guys.
Flashback, diba? Flashback.
So
So wait, I'm curious, Joy. Why did you say no initially?
I was dating somebody that time. So
Faithful girl.
Question, bro. Did she say no first? Also, hindi rin. Hindi naman.
she wasn't dating someone at that time.
Yeah, I wasn't dating, but
She had
it's not
just
about
come from
us.
break, but it's not about us.
We'll
Back
go
to
to
you. Back
your
to you.
show one
Nice,
time.
nice try, bro. Nice try. Back to you guys. So you said no because you were dating someone, but you did meet there, and that really cemented your relationship, right?
No, but I
It was
didn't
in
know
college.
who he was. Like he just kept texting
Yeah.
and texting for
Ah.
weeks, and he really was a stalker.
No.
Wait, you're kidding me? So you did
Yeah.
not remember? Like, there was
I
no
didn't
formal
know.
introduction between
No.
his friend
No,
brokering the whole.
only through text.
No way.
So he
Just, "Hey,
introduced
my name is
himself
Gian.
through text.
I'm the friend of.
I'm a friend of
BJ.
BJ, and then he goes, Can I call you? Can I text you?" I go, No.
No.
Can we be friends? No. I said,
And yung reply niya,
just
bro,
N-O.
walang
Nothing.
period.
Nothing.
NO lang
Just
talaga.
N-O.
No.
Because I felt like I don't need anyone right now. Like I felt like no.
And you had a
And
boyfriend.
you were not-
so
yeah,
you were being
relationship.
faithful.
And she
Yeah.
was also like, I don't even know you. I would.
Yeah.
Who's.
And what was weird was I would be walking in school in campus, and then someone like he would text me and say, "Hi, I just saw you. You look so beautiful today." Or "Hi, I just saw you pass by." So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, who
stalker.
is he?" So I never knew what he looked like,
Okay.
and I never even knew about his family.
Bro,
that
parang
much.
mali yata
This is,
itong ano. I'll go
this
na.
is now for those watching. This is a build up right here. Okay, we're gonna go to the main thing. So
Yeah.
let's fast forward because we're so intrigued with this whole backstory, which we did not know. But
we know we sat down with
no,
him.
this level of detail is fresh, which is I want to just dwell on it. But so at some point, obviously, you did say yes, right? So
Tagal pa.
but in the college years, in that
the college
season, right? In the
years,
college years, you did say yes to Gian. So at what
Was it
point
months?
did you do that?
Years?
And you
Years.
became
until we
Years.
until we got together. Yeah.
Yes.
First year college, second year college ako eh.
so when
I-
did it become you guys?
I actually said yes to him when I was in third year na.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That's a long
2
And
years.
I would
he
just
was
keep
very
messaging
Wow.
from time to
persistent. He
time.
was very persistent.
wow.
And you were not dating anybody.
He
Gian.
was.
no, you were not dating that guy anymore, Joy. You were
No
done.
more, no more.
Okay, but he was in a relationship at that time.
Well,
Ay,
I
hindi.
don't,
Tulungan mo ako pare.
I think we need to change the name of the show to.
I don't even know if relationship
No.
or just like diba I told you something last night?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I told him the kwento about like ano.
Yeah, you can say it.
Last night?
Yeah, because we were talking
How
about
she was testing you.
Oh
I
my
tested
gosh,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
I tested
Bro,
you.
for the record, hindi pa po, I wasn't a Christian yet. Okay, so
We're getting there.
I
We're
didn't
getting
know
there.
I didn't know I was stalking. I thought
Mm.
I was just
You like the girl.
trying, yeah, ganon. I didn't know I was stalking her.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
So you did end up together at some point
nahihiya ako, bro. when I
in
think about-
college, right?
Yeah.
And then from that point,
Oh, man.
I know that part of your story is you then got pregnant.
Yeah. So,
Well-
fourth year college, I was graduating na. Sabi ko, you know what? Kung mabasted ako, okay lang. At least I'm graduating. So, I'll just message her again. And then, she finally said yes.
No, you went to Cebu pa, and that's
No.
that's
I mean,
when
yes to go out.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So, we went out a couple of times. And then when I
The first
asked,
yes to go out.
yes.
Go out only pa.
Wait,
ha?
at what point did you know who he was? Because you only knew about him texting
I had
you,
to ask
messaging.
my
Friends,
blockmate,
gano'n,
like,
yeah.
who is this guy? And then they were like, kilala ko yan. Like, like, so who? And then finally they pointed him out to me and I was like, oh, like parang, oh, that's him pala.
yeah, she's like, ew. Ganun daw sabi niya. Pero,
Really?
Yeah.
Were you at the?
Oo.
At,
Yeah, like he wasn't,
Your
maybe
type.
because I wasn't ready yet.
Mm.
For, like, to
and I asked
meet
help
anyone.
from her friends then to help me. Ilakad ako kay Joy. But anyway, so fourth year college, that's when she first said yes. And then we
Third
went out.
year. I was third year.
Yeah, fourth year ako.
Yeah.
Third year ka. We went out. We watched a movie, ganon. Until I got, basta binasted niya ako. She rejected me mga 3 times pa during that time.
You're
Yeah.
so persistent.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really
Wow.
impressed.
I said no 3 times.
And then
And then,
And then you
before
went,
my graduation, I I asked permission from my father. Sabi ko, Dad, can I go to Cebu because it's a matter of
Life and death.
Life and death.
life and death, love and death. But then yun, he said, okay, sige, and explained the situation sa kanya. So I talked to Joy again in Cebu. And I remember telling her something like, you know what, okay lang if you reject me pa rin. I still love you. And
Wow.
if whatever
You
it
said,
is,
I still
saying-
love you. You
He
used
kept
that word
saying,
already.
I love you kasi.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Even
He
if we
didn't
weren't
know you-
together yet.
Yeah.
Really?
I kept telling her
Yeah,
I
he
love
kept
you.
telling me that he loved me. That's why when we got together, finally, like when I told him,
She-
so we
I went to Cebu.
Okay, go you.
Then
So wait, I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. You were saying I love you even before you were
Yes.
together.
Yes.
Just as like in the getting to know you, just to
Yes.
show that you were
That's why
very
I was
interested in her.
like,
yes.
You know,
It's real?
objectively, like I know you guys now, and I think you guys are a great couple. I know you're a great guy, but it's a little bit psychotic.
It does
See?
sound like a stalker
See?
looking back. But the
Yeah.
interesting thing is it worked.
Yeah.
Right? This is the bottom line here. So at that point, so he was saying I love you, finally went to see you in Cebu.
Yeah,
And
and-
then
And I told him, okay, when I get back to Manila, I'm gonna tell you my answer.
Yeah.
So I went back to Manila for my 4th year of college, and then I decided, I felt like, you know what, he's been so persistent, and he went to Cebu, like he met my family. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is something else. So
The whole
so,
time kasi she was thinking hindi ako seryoso.
yeah, I thought lang
And
na
the reason I
parang
kept
he was-
telling her na I love you, I wanted to be transparent na to her. I wanted to make sure na, babe, seryoso ako sa'yo. So,
Yeah.
kung ano ako sa bahay, I'll show you the way I am, ganon.
But knowing
nang-
you now, you are that kind of person. You're a very
Yes.
Yeah.
demonstrative
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so now we know where it
It's
started.
consistent. Yes.
From the very beginning. From the
And
very
I
beginning.
was not used to that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like
Showiness.
yes, the showiness and the vocal being too vocal. I was not used to that. Like
Yeah.
so that's why I was in doubt. Like, is it real? Is he serious? Is it genuine? That's how I felt. And then anyway, long story short, when I got to Manila, I told him, I said, okay, you tell that part. I had a condition though before we became
So
together.
we were in Rock.
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
After we watched the movie, and then she told me, okay, I'm gonna tell you now something. And she goes, okay, I'm gonna say yes.
But
But please don't keep saying I love you to me. Sabi niya, okay, it's too much.
I
Sabi
love
niya
you.
ganun. Sabi ko, okay.
Joy's the only girl on the planet that would actually.
Yeah. She
And
said
so
that.
he said,
So,
sure,
Sure, game. Basta
Okay.
tayo na.
Okay.
Di ba? Of
And
course,
then-
I'll take it.
deal.
And then, yeah.
But he
we
still
got
kept
together.
saying I love. I got used to it. Until now, like, it's become a family valley. Like,
It's part of your
it's part of
culture.
our
Yeah.
culture as a family now.
So tell me, from that point, the Rockwell moment where she made the deal, which you agreed to, which you did not do anyway,
Yeah.
when did you finally end up getting married? What's the story behind that?
So,
Long
ano,
story short, na.
after like a few months, she broke up with me.
You don't have to say that na.
But you did, di ba? So, babawi naman ako. But yeah, she did. She broke over the phone. And
Okay.
she said,
He keeps repeating
I'm breaking
that.
up with you and there's nothing
Baby,
you can
haven't
do about it.
forgiven me pa ba?
Then,
Ganon.
forgive me na. Story lang.
And then,
And you have to understand, bro, Joy, this girl, when I saw her, ang nasa utak ko when I saw her was like, oh Lord, this is the girl that I want to be my wife and to have
Oh.
2 kids with.
two lang, no, two lang.
Kasi yun yung dream ko before, to have a wife and 2 kids. So, yung sabi ko, pero alam ko hindi ako papasa. Ganun yung, yun yung
Mindset.
Yeah, that's the mindset. That's what I thought when I saw her. And I prayed, although I wasn't a believer at that time yet. Only my mom was during that time. Talagang yun yung nasa heart ko agad.
Okay.
And so when she
Broke
got
up.
together, she was breaking up with me. I was so devastated.
Mm.
But I produced a lot of songs. It produced a lot of nice songs when we broke up. But then our relationship became on and off. And then it came to the point na around 2004.
Yeah. So we were together. So that was 2001. And then so
It's like
we
on
broke
and off.
up. We
3
broke
years
up,
on and
but we
off.
got together, and then but we kind of stuck together. Pero since when we broke up kasi, he got into vices because he felt bad.
Yeah, I
That was the
started.
reason why
That's where it
he
started.
started.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
Okay.
started that night when I broke up with
Yeah.
him.
That first phone call.
Yeah.
That first phone call when
You
I
were so
said,
devastated.
Yeah, I was so
He was
devastated. I did, and
though I took it back that night, I said, no, can we still get back together?
But he already was hooked on the
Yeah.
vice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
was,
was-
ano na, parang he
I
was
was lost na.
decided na. Yeah.
yeah,
3
anyway,
years of
so-
being lost until 20,
But we were still
2004.
together, on and off, parang, but actually more on. And then 2004,
she was going.
around March, I got pregnant with
Before she got pregnant, she said she was going to Bangkok.
because I was modeling that time.
Yeah.
So I was modeling here in the Philippines, but I would send also. I also had an agent in Bangkok,
Mhm.
and eventually they told me because I just kept sending my videos, my photos, if they need, if they had requirements, and then eventually they told me, you know what, it's easier if you live here. So I told him, I go, you know what, I might just go
Move.
to Bangkok
Mm.
because I want to try it out there. Like, you know, parang, who knows, di ba? And then I got pregnant.
Okay.
And then eventually, after I got pregnant, years after, he admitted that he did
planned-
it on purpose.
Yeah, I think so. It
Sort
sounds
So
of.
I wouldn't
Not naman
leave.
so, not naman parang,
But I never knew until like
But sort
Hugo
of
was
ganun.
already born.
yeah,
And then you
Okay.
married.
yes,
And then we got married when Hugo was two.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only reason we got married was because I felt like we're drifting apart, and she's the one taking care of Hugo.
Mm.
When I got her pregnant, my parents, especially my dad, wanted me to, okay, may anak ka na, buhayin mo yan.
Mm.
Buhayin mo sila. And
Yeah, they cut off his card.
yeah, ganon. He
Like,
wanted
talagang
me to learn
nothing,
talaga.
yeah.
But at that time, hindi ko maintindihan at that time. So I became more rebellious and tried to do things my way the whole time. I would tell Joy, hindi, someday ako bahala sa'yo. Paulit-ulit lang ako.
Yeah, that's his line to me. Ako bahala sa'yo.
Just wait for my record deal, ganyan.
Yeah, yeah.
When we got the record deal, but things got worse. Tapos I was just parang I continued our band. I was pursuing a band thing. Hanggang sa when
Hugo,
no, we got married because I felt like she was going to break up with me again. Nawala na. And then things got worse when we got married. Same thing pa rin. She's the one spending for the kids.
I was like the breadwinner.
I was not
before.
earning.
The sugar mommy.
Yeah,
sugar
Because the band was not
Sugar
taking off
mommy.
at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah,
Right? And
the
she had
band
her
was not
thing.
taking over, not
Mm.
earning enough. And it came to a point na I was using the band as an escape for me to get high or to get wasted. Para magbisyo.
Was it because you were just also just frustrated with yourself and your situation?
Yes, I think that's it. Joy.
Okay.
And
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know then, but
looking back,
now looking back, I realized I was really going through deep depression.
Mm.
And there were times na I would enjoy being alone and just crying myself to sleep. Ganon ka.
so
Dark.
this is
That's
really
how deep
interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, you were so in your profession of love for Joy was so intense. You obviously loved her so much.
Yes.
And yet there was a moment in your relationship, in your marriage at the beginning, where you fell into sexual immorality.
Yes.
So how do you reconcile that?
During that time, felt like I have nothing to offer Joy. I felt like ako yung pabibigat sa kanya. And we would always have really, really bad fights. It didn't come to the point naman that I hurt her in any way or physically. Pero yung
He would just punch the
wall, ganon.
like that. But not me. He would punch like mga
stuff
things.
around, ganon.
You were not physical with him. Like
no,
you didn't hit him
I
or
don't.
anything.
I don't hit him.
Pero Joy, our routine was, we were really disconnected.
And I think my outlet also that time was leaving for Cebu. Like I just really wanted like
To get
parang
away?
I felt to get out. Like I felt like when I was here in Manila, I felt so lost. I had so much financial responsibilities. I had to pay for everything. And so I felt like, you know what, I'll just go home.
Mm.
Like when I'm in Cebu, and I don't have to do anything. So I kept going to Cebu. Like I'd stay there for a month, for 2 months, and I'd leave him here and I'd bring all the yaya. So he'd go home to an empty home.
Yeah.
So I think
worsened things,
that's
right?
all. Yeah, that
Mm.
worsened everything actually.
Right. So I'm going to lead to a point here, right? But before I get to that point, let's see how it turns. And we know the story and how it's redemptive. So you're in a very dark place. Gian, you said, it was really, really like deep depression because instead of making things better by Joy trying to fix it on her own, leaving you, it made things worse for you.
Yes.
It made things worse for her. How did it turn?
It came to a point I was very disconnected with her, with my mother and my father, my family, even my bandmates. It came to that point. I even remember my mom would always tell me, "Why don't you start acting? That's what you love. That's what you want to do." But because that was really my dream when I was a kid. I really wanted to to act and to follow my mom and dad's footsteps in that area. But then because of pride, because I was like, no, I will decide on my own what my future will be. Ganon. My life is in my hands. Ganon yung mindset ko dati. And then I was so disconnected na. And as I disconnected myself from the people around me, I didn't know na it was really, para it's like digging your own grave. And there were times that I would think about suicide. But then, my escape would be it's either to sleep around or to get high. That was my game plan the whole time. Just using the band to do that. So
Until
until one day, Joy
I
and
came from Cebu
yeah,
because I even spent Hugo's fourth birthday
Wow.
in Cebu.
without me.
Without him,
Yeah.
I spent it with my family in
You're really
Cebu.
growing apart.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
but
point, yeah.
but you have to understand also, I came from a broken family, so I also didn't have a picture of what was normal. So I felt that as long as we would communicate, we were okay. I thought we were okay because we would talk every night anyway. Like when I get home, oh, how are you? Okay, you just got home. Okay, bye, I love you, like that. I thought that was a normal setup for a marriage. So all along, since we didn't really fight, we were talking. I was just far. I was in Cebu, but I thought all along we were okay. So I never really thought na parang that's not normal, huh? That's not parang that was not a normal marriage. But anyway, that was November, Hugo's birthday.
We would fight about financial
Yeah,
our financial
finances, yeah.
situation. Ganon, nag-aaway din kami.
Yeah, finances talaga. But anyway, long story short, November, our anniversary, November 29.
Yeah.
I came home. Actually, after Hugo's birthday, I came home so I can have dinner with him, even if it was late birthday celebration. So we had dinner with you and I think also your family, no?
Yes, and then we went to we did a dinner na tayong dalawa lang for the anniversary.
And then for our anniversary also, end of November, we had a dinner. We were okay. We even spent it in a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
We had steak and all.
Yeah, but she already had a feeling na parang there's something up with me.
Yeah, parang I had like an inkling na parang something's not right.
Yeah.
But I was okay pa.
Oo.
And
And
until
then
God
I
revealed something
No,
na.
not only that. I remember nag-toast pa kami ng wine. And she said, "Okay, pa, if you're doing something bad, God will tell me."
I
remember
don't
that.
remember.
I remember that. Sobrang ako parang,
I don't remember
so
that.
so what your memory was in that dinner.
We were okay lang, but then all my memory lang was we ended the night na magulo na because I found out.
And
did you find out?
She would receive
God
texts.
revealed it to me.
Not only that, before that, may mga text ka,
And you
diba?
know what? Now it makes sense. We toasted on that,
Mm.
and God really revealed it
Yeah,
to me that night.
That night.
And what
You
did
saw what was the revelation? You saw the
so-
messages.
No, so anyway,
No.
we fought. Before ending the night, we fought. So I said, I'm just gonna sleep. So before midnight,
The reason we fought was I'm trying to get her
Eh, wait, but-
drunk, ganon, para will,
do something?
yeah.
Okay.
can
And
cut
then,
that.
and then I
She's
want to hear
like,
this. And then,
no,
and then,
no
and then-
way. She kept saying, no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pwedeng ganon.
Okay, parang
And then
Maybe
we
you-
went home.
you can just cut this part kasi baka it's too much info. He wanted to smoke with me. He wanted me to smoke with him so I'll be intimate with him.
Mhm.
Cut na lang yan kasi baka may batang manood. So that really triggered me because I didn't want
Oo.
him to smoke.
Weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, weed. So I got mad. So anyway, you can record this now. So I went to sleep na lang that night and I was feeling bad. And then parang God was just like someone on something.
her up.
Yeah, or God was telling me na go to the kitchen.
During this time, we were
Pero wala
living.
siya eh. We were
living
our
in
living situation was like this. Yung go.
yung house kasi palipat-lipat kami ng places dati before.
So we lived in Valle. I rented
apartment
an
there.
apartment in Valle. That's where we had Hugo. And then when I was pregnant with Edrigo, I said,
another apartment.
you know what? We need to move to another place because we're gonna have 2 kids. So his parents kasi moved to a house in
In Katipunan.
Katipunan. So they said, okay, why don't you stay in our old house in White Plains?
But we only had to can stay doon sa
can only
guest room
stay in the
because
guest
it's
room and the
storage
den
everywhere.
because
I see.
parang they had tambak in the
Got it.
bedrooms upstairs.
Got it.
So we stayed
So-
in the room na hindi ginagamit.
Yeah,
And then
so-
there,
Ito na.
that's where Joy was sleeping.
Yeah,
And
I was sleeping
woke up.
and then parang I just felt like God was telling me, go to the kitchen. Because I felt, parang feeling ko, something's up. He's not in bed pa. And so I sneaked in the kitchen and then I saw him and I heard him, parang he was, may
Kaaway
kaaway
sa
siya.
phone.
May kaaway sa phone. So I was like, who's that? So I was trying to eavesdrop and then I overheard him say, huwag mo na akong tawagan. Parang ganon. So I was like,
Sino to?
who's
Mm,
that?
Who is this person?
Right?
Mm.
So I said, who's that? And then, in fairness to him, he admitted right away.
So
he
you
never-
confronted him. You said, "Who is that?"
Yeah, he
And then
admitted
he
right
said-
away. And then I saw his phone. And then, wala na, nagkagulo na. So I was
Like,
even
"Who's
telling
this?
him.
Who's this?
Yeah.
Who's this?
Yeah.
And I told her na, yun nga, I was being unfaithful. I was sleeping
He
around.
said, he
I
said
came,
right
sinabi ko
away.
kagad lahat na. I was also still getting wasted. Ganun.
When you say sleeping around, it was multiple people?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you found out. From that point, you found out about all these
Yeah.
incidences.
Well, I
'cause
called
he
his
confessed
mom.
it.
That night, I called his mom.
She went to my mom and
And
dad.
I cried to his mom and then
Yeah.
because malapit lang naman the house. So she goes, come here. So I went to his parents' house and then they were I was in his mom's bed. I really remember that. I was crying and then they were so mad at him, his mom and
all of them.
dad.
Even my sister, Shara, who was in the
In the
US at that
States
time,
that time,
galit siya sa akin.
Yeah. But anyway, long story short,
She
I
decided,
wanted
I'm
to
going to go
leave.
to Cebu
Nah, I wanted to go to Cebu.
with the kids.
Yeah, I wanted to leave and go to Cebu. And so that was end of November. And
The next day.
Do we say the whole thing pa or no?
The next day,
Or no, go to the. We
Go
can
to
go to
the
the turning point.
turning
So
point.
good.
Yeah.
Next day, I tried to win her back. I tried to buy flowers.
Mm.
Nilagyan ko ng petals yung
With
papunta sa
candles
roof, ganun,
pa,
with candle, ganun.
and
I
all.
asked my son Hugo
Si
to help me.
Hugo. Yeah.
Para pag uwi niya, she'll see that. And she got home.
Don't say the word na lang kay.
So
Sabi niya, she got home. Yung mukha niya galit. She got the flowers and destroyed it. Kasi mga books na kinuha ko for tinapon niya. Na ganun. And she said,
I said something bad
yeah, she said, I want the whole world
to know
to know that you're a piece of...
Wait,
Yeah,
yeah,
bad
yeah,
word.
that
censored,
one.
censored. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
You know, but
I was so mad.
what is so moving about the story is even with all of these things that you're already sharing, and we're hearing some details which we never heard before, there was something that changed the trajectory. Tell us about that.
So
It was joy first before Gian, right?
during that time, during that season we were disconnected, she would join my mom with her Bible study with my sisters. And I would tell her, no, sumasama dyan. You don't, sabi ko,
His
our
mom
religion
kasi
is,
had
ano,
like parang a
Bible
pastor who would always, and with the friends of his mom, na they would always have a Bible study in their house. Mga Thursdays yata.
Yeah.
Eh. And I think I was already seeking that time. I just didn't really know. But I felt good when I would listen to the Bible
Bible
study.
studies.
Yeah. So I would go
But I
anyway.
would always
parang-
discourage her.
Yeah, and then he would tell me, why are you joining? Are you gonna convert like that? I'm like,
We're
no,
supposed to,
I'm just listening. Because when I saw it was like a Bible. They're
Studying the Bible.
Yeah, they're just studying the
studying
word.
the Bible. And I was like, we have the same Bible. I go,
Yeah.
I'm not converting. I'm just really listening and I'm learning a lot.
But anyway, that day,
So, yeah.
the next day, nung she said that she was so, ano pa rin, I felt hopeless. I really couldn't imagine. She said she's leaving, so I can't imagine living without her.
Mm.
I can't imagine na she's gonna go with the kids. I'm weighing things na parang, yes, she's better off without me kasi at least there in Cebu, she has a
taken
comfortable,
care of,
yeah,
yeah.
she's well taken care of. Ako naman, it's okay na. I'll be fine. Tas, then later on, because of the disconnection and all, I felt like there's no other way to go but to just sign off. Ganon. So, I tried to, because of the depression na rin and my suicidal tendencies, I decided to try to commit suicide.
Oh.
And I got a knife. I was in the kitchen. I got the biggest knife. And I was really, tinatansya ko na kung paano. Gano. I was putting it on my wrist. And then she saw me. So I stopped. And I was like, okay, pangit naman na makita niya. And then she's asking me, parang, anong ginagawa? What are you doing? Gano.
And I also saw him punching himself. So he was bloody all over na his face. So I was like, at that time, I was mad at him. But I didn't want naman the father
That's
of my
another time.
child to die, right? So I was stopping him, though I was mad at him. Tapos yun na, parang eventually,
So, those are the two attempts. And then the last attempt, I was thinking, okay, baka maybe I need to, kailangan ko muna magbilin ng mga last na kailangan before I go. So I called Oyo, my cousin. I didn't call anyone else because si Oyo was the one who had a very sound mind during that time eh. Around mga 2007, kasama ko sa kalokohan si Oyo. But 2008, something changed.
Mm.
And I would even say na parang, pare, nagbago ka, napakitang tao lang yata, nagbago ka, ganon. But then, talagang Oyo was not smoking, he wasn't cursing, he was really doing his best to read the word and share the word. Ganon, that was the Oyo that I was
Remember
with during
that
the
time.
2008. So during that time na magbibilin ako, syempre doon na sa tao na,
Can I add? Oh, I think God also used Oyo because this happened November, right? October, he was shooting with Oyo. So
Yeah.
the last person
I see.
that he was with,
Top of mind.
top of
Yeah.
mind
Mhm.
was really Oyo.
Mm.
And he saw a lot of changes in Oyo during the taping.
Mm.
yeah. So when I
So you
needed
called-
someone to, okay,
Make
ito na
bilin.
make bilin.
Yeah.
I called Oyo and Oyo was like, sabi ko, yo, ito na yata ending ko. That's the exact word. Tapos sinabi, and then I told him, I was crying, gano'n. I told him, Joy's leaving. If hindi ko makakasama si Joy, hindi ako mabubuhay na wala sila. Mas mabuti nang wala na ako. And then he said, hindi ganoon, kuya. That's not how it is. Hindi yan yung plan ni God para sa'yo. He goes, count it all joy, di ba? Sabi niya ganun sa akin. And then I couldn't understand. Sabi ko, ano yung sabihin? Sabi niya, kuya, kailangan maniwala ka. Mag-trust ka muna kay God. Nasubukan mo ba mag-trust muna bago ka di ba? Bago ka mag-decide? Kailangan mag-trust ka sa kanya. May magandang future siya. May magandang plan siya para sa'yo. First time ko marinig yan from someone na kaibigan. Actually, from someone.
Ever.
The whole time, ang naririnig ko lagi, wala ka ng pag-asa, bahala ka sa buhay mo, or shot mo lang yan, makakalimutan mo yung problema mo. Ganun eh. It's the first time I heard that from Oyo. And sabi ko, you know what, bro? Sabi niya, God has a plan. It's always beautiful. It's always going to be good. Kailangan na magtiwala ka. And then sabi ko sa kanya, kung totoo yung God mo, bro, sige, pakilala mo ako sa God. And then sabi niya, relax ka lang, Kuya Gigi. Tonight, I have a Bible group. Why don't you join me? Tapos, tama-tama to. Tonight yung mayroon akong parang 1-to-1. It's like tracks for victory. So, that night, I went with him. And then the pastor, si Coach Robert Gonzalez, he asked me, bakit ka nandito? And then I started crying.
Oh, wow.
And then he said, anong gusto mo mangyari? And hindi ko masagot. Sabi ko, Coach, imposible. We call him Coach. Posible Coach kasi yung gusto ko mangyari, alam ko hindi mangyayari. Sabi niya, mas marunong ka pa kay God? Sabi niya, walang imposible kay God. Okay? Promise ni God yun, hindi ko promise yun. And then he goes, ano gusto mo mangyari? Sabi ko, gusto ko sana maayos yung relationship ko sa wife ko, sa family ko, sa mga kaibigan ko, sa lahat. And then he goes, bakit gusto mo maayos? Baka pakitang tao ka lang. So nang bumalik sa akin yung pakitang tao. And so I said, hindi Coach, yun talaga yung kailangan ko. Yun talaga yung gusto ko. And then he goes, kung gusto mo, if you want to fix your relationship with your wife, with your family, how's your relationship with God?
Mm.
So there, I cried again. And then sabi ko, nagpe-pray naman ako. Sabi niya, you call that a relationship? Sabi niya, a relationship is, di ba, may commitment, may communication, may trust, and may love. Meron ka ba nun? Do you have that with God? And then he broke it down to me isa-isa about commitment, about communication, and trusting God, and loving God. And then he asked me, bro, decision mo yan. If you want to have a relationship with God, it's your decision. It's not my decision, hindi si Oyo. Pero ang guarantee ko sa'yo, maaayos yung relationship mo with everybody else, especially your wife, if you have a relationship with God. Pero hindi ko alam kung gaano katagal. Sabi niya, I went to the similar thing before, and ako inabot ako mga 2 years. So sa'yo, I don't know, baka 2 years ka din, or maybe more, maybe 2 months, hindi natin alam. But still, are you willing to accept that? And then, so sabi ko, game,
Let's do it.
There's a pause because Gian tearing. Yeah. Maybe Joy, as he's processing that again, because something was also happening on your end. You didn't know what was happening to Gian, but he was going through how God was speaking to him. So what was
So actually, when
happening to you?
he went home that night, I remember it was a Wednesday. He went home that night. I was mad at him. I was in the kitchen. You know, we weren't speaking at home. We were like in a cold war, like having a cold war that time. And then he told me, he goes, "You want to go to church on Sunday?"
Just out
That
of
was
the
his
blue?
first
That
line.
was his first line
yeah,
when he got home. And then I said yes. But I was telling him, I don't even know why I said yes, but I really wanted to go to church. Because I was also talking to Danica that time. So I did my own thing, not because I wanted to fix a relationship, but I was doing that because I also felt like there's something missing. I don't know what that was. So I think God was working already with him and with me, but we didn't know that time that that was already God working. So anyway, I said yes, and then we went to church Sunday, and then boom, the message was like
Yeah.
speaking to us,
Wow.
and we
that Sunday.
it was like the pastor talking to just the two of us.
Wow.
It spoke to us, and I think that helped me with my anger and with also how to process it with myself, like, because long story short, I was able to forgive him in 2 weeks.
Which is so unusual,
Which is
right?
so,
Because
yeah.
for most women,
Yeah.
some still haven't forgiven
Yes.
Yes.
the infidelity of
Yeah,
their
yeah.
husband.
And I always tell people this. I know it's probably different, with each of our walk, like, right? Like, but with me, after I've forgiven him, it was really God's grace um that I was not. I never brought up the topic ever again. Parang I felt like, okay, this is what they call grace. Like,
Amen.
I understood what God's grace was because I was able to forgive, and I was able to not bring up the topic ever again up to this day.
You saying when you would not bring up the topic because a lot of women will want to tell me the details, tell me
Yeah.
exactly what happened and how many.
I think what
and
I
who they
did
were.
was we talked we talked, and I told him, you know what, tell me everything already, and that's it.
Okay, then you moved on.
And then I moved on. Yeah. And I think what also helped was I saw how he really wanted to change. Like, I saw that he changed his number. He gave me his passwords, and little things like that.
Yeah.
I valued it. Like, I know the trust was gone, but then the little things that I saw in him helped me also regain that trust.
I think because you saw sincerity, right? You
I saw
that
sincerity.
there was real repentance and brokenness, the
Yes,
desire.
and I
to
saw how
change.
he really like changed 180 degrees, like, and I saw how he was really like walking with God, to the point where I wanted what he was having already. Like I was amazed. Like, whoa, what's happening to you? Like he stopped smoking, cold turkey. You know, he really changed.
No cursing.
No cursing when every sentence used to be
Yeah.
A bleep,
one
bleep.
word. Yeah, beep, beep, beep.
He went back to I love you, I love you, I love like
Yeah,
all that
more.
stuff more than
Became
before.
more I love you.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm smiling as I'm listening to this, even if it's just going back to it with you guys. Obviously, there's so much emotion there. There's so much hurt, but there's also so much redemption. And that's why I think you're still moved by it, bro. And
Yeah.
so now I'm going to bring it to the point, right? And this has probably been our longest podcast, but
Sorry.
because
But
it's
it's
so
okay.
rich.
Sorry, bro.
You know what? I think that a lot of people identify with the
Correct.
story.
And so
Yeah.
the point really here is when we look at families, and the heartbeat of this is to help people get it right from the start. But, this is why we do what we do here. We fail to realize that the foundation of a family is a good marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes we feel like the foundation of a good family is good parenting. You focus just on what you do with the kids, but and maybe people are listening to this right now and they're like, you know what, as long as we're good with the kids, we're good. But the marriage itself is not okay. It might even be as broken as our friends here, or maybe even worse. So
You know what's funny
Yeah.
that you brought that up? On the way here, I was scrolling through social media and then
Yeah.
a reel just popped up and it said, if you want happy kids, have a happy marriage.
There you go.
And then I told Gian,
there you go. That's
"Whoa,
so perfect.
I go, this is such a big,
Yeah.
a big line that we can actually share.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and you,
And
you
voila,
just said it.
you
Yeah.
just said it right now. Yeah.
Another
So
thing, Edric,
you
is
know-
Good.
the truth is, some marriages they stay together for the kids, and that's when things really, the priorities really change.
that's really good.
And I would even go back a little bit further, and you had to find that sense of wholeness in your relationship with God first
Yes.
in order to have a good marriage.
Yes.
Because sometimes people are always trying to work on, well, let's work on the marriage,
Yep.
let's fix
Yeah.
the marriage. But I think you guys came to a point of total humility
And
before
surrender.
the Lord and surrender, where it's like, I can't, there's something
Yeah.
wrong with me.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There's something
That's
wrong
what
with
Joe
me
was sharing,
personally.
yeah.
And if I don't fix
Me.
me,
Yeah, we can't fix
We cannot
can't
fix
fix
us.
us.
Exactly.
and for sure our family, this
Exactly.
dream,
Yeah.
it must have been so heartbreaking for you, Joy, because I imagine all you wanted, as you said when you were
Yeah.
younger, was to have this ideal family,
Exactly.
this happy family, this loving family, and all of a sudden that was ripped
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah.
And then Gian, all he wanted was to have a good marriage with you, and
But
that
you
was
know
not
what?
happening.
But you know what? I shared this with Gian, and I think I've shared this with a few friends also. I was actually very thankful to God that it happened. You know why? Because Hugo was 4 that time. I was so thankful. I kept thanking God that he was young enough not to remember.
yes.
Not to remember the life
fights,
the
the-
fights
yeah,
that we
the
had,
life, yeah.
or the life that we had without God.
Mm.
And I would cry to God when we surrendered our lives to Christ. I would cry to God and thank Him, because it was actually at the right and perfect time that He saved us. He saved us, and he still honored my prayer, because if that you know, or if that thing didn't happen, I don't think we would even realize that we didn't have God in our life, or
Or
I
that
don't
we
think we would
needed
be
Him.
intentional in
Yeah.
even sharing the word to our kids, because that time we would go to church and then that's it. We wouldn't even pray with them.
There was a disconnect.
There was a
Yeah.
disconnect, yeah, because we
Yeah.
couldn't give our kids what we didn't have, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have a relationship with God. But then when we surrendered our lives to Christ that time, Rodrigo was 1, Hugo was 4. It was actually the perfect time to mold our kids. And I was very, very, very great. Until now, I'm grateful to God that, He intervened at that time, because that's all I really wanted. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I really wanted. I wanted to have a family that was complete, and that's how you make a family complete, by having God first and putting
well
God
said.
first in your life.
Well
Diba?
said. And because we have the lenses outside, we now see how you're married 90, 20, how many years now?
18.
18 years. And so they have 6 kids, as we said earlier. Hugo is 19,
13,
20.
20.
turning 20, and then Edrigo is
16.
16.
17. 17.
You
Turning
got this,
17.
guys. You got this. Turn 17, and then we
And then
have
Sandra's 13.
Sandro 13,
11.
11,
Sano.
And then 8.
Sano, and
Yeah.
then
11,
Amari,
yeah, and
your
then
baby
8,
girl,
and then
who's not a
4.
baby anymore, and
Yeah.
then
4.
4.
Domico, and maybe more. We'll see. We
No
don't know.
more
But
na.
you know what? By God's grace alone, your dream, although it seemed like a nightmare at the
Yeah.
start, is now in
Turned out-
fruition.
Yes, it turned
Right?
out.
And we see
turned out
that
for
the
the
fruit
good.
of it, the people around you, the friends that you're influencing, your family members who you're also influencing in the same way to help them understand that same God who you're able to give your life to. So,
So I think as we close this part,
Yeah.
right? This is just the first section. I think it's a reminder that if you come to a point of total hopelessness, which you were both in, that there's always hope
Yeah.
in
Yes.
God.
Yes.
And that's the encouraging part. I think some of the people who might be listening or watching, depending on what platform you're using, you might be at a point where you're like, my story is I'm just so broken and I don't know how to move forward.
Mm.
I don't know what the future holds. But like your cousin said to you, Gian, that there's always hope, that God has a good plan for your life. And I hope that you guys are seeing
Mm.
and you're being encouraged by the fact that no matter where you're at
Mm.
right now, that there is a good plan for your life
Yes.
in Christ,
Mm.
and God can rebuild whatever's been lost,
Yeah,
and
and in
stolen, and broken. Yeah.
We're going to go off script
Hmm.
as we close our time. And thank you for being very raw and honest with us, Gian and Joe. We know you have a public platform as well, but the fact that you're able to do this is because of this one thing I'm going to end with off script. If you are that person right now and you don't have a relationship, this could be the chance for you to start that. So I'm going to go do something different, which we haven't done. I want to pray if that's
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
I
please.
think this is in your heart as well.
Yes.
This is what changed your life literally and
Yes.
saved your life, right? And enjoy your marriage.
Yes.
And maybe as Joy, my wife was saying, this could be the reason you're listening to this, whether you're just listening to Spotify right now, you're seeing this on YouTube. We want to give you a chance to start that relationship. So I want to pray with you. You can do it right now. Say something like this: Dear God, you know exactly where I'm at right now, and I want that relationship so badly, so desperately. I'm a mess. I'm a wreck. And so I surrender my life to you now. I am so sorry for all the things that I have done in my life, all these sins. And I thank you that you sent your son Jesus to pay for all of these things. And because he did, I am now forgiven. And I thank you for this. And because I am forgiven, I can have a relationship with you. And I thank you that today can be the start of that. Will you now guide me as I go forward? Will you now show me the way, surround me with the right people so that I might be able to pursue this relationship with you, and I too might experience that peace and redemption that we heard from the story of Gian and Joy, and maybe from people that you also, that I've heard in other places. So Lord, this is my prayer. And this is our prayer for this person who's listening right now, wherever they're at, that they would indeed be able to experience you for the first time in this way and start a relationship that will last into eternity in heaven with you, God. This is our prayer. Amen.
Amen.
And amen. So thanks for joining us again. I'm Edric,
I'm Joy,
and we're here to help you get it
right from the start.